Everybody to the March 30th, 2023 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Here. Are there any conflict of interest statements? No. Approval of the minutes of the meeting of March 23rd, 2023.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 23rd meeting.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Number 5, bid openings, I see none. Number 6, matters from other department heads or their representatives.
2 items. Good morning to the board.
Good morning.
Asking for the board to approve a request by Reith Riley to make the intersection at Sibley and Hammond stop controlled. There was a this was planned, but in the process of demolition, the wire to the signal was cut, and so we thought it was better just to make it
It did it for you.
did it for us. We put a 4-way stop rather than having to make the repair. It'd be through September 1st, so if I could get your consideration on this.
Okay. From now through September 1st, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, make a motion to approve the submission by Reith Riley as presented.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you. And the other item, same project, Holman Avenue reconstruction. The contractor needs to make a utility tie-in on what is now the southbound lane of Holman Avenue. So they're asking for a 2-day closure of the southbound lane, April 11th and 12th. That's Tuesday, April 11th, and Wednesday, April 12th. They've provided a detour. I reviewed the detour, and I was sort of happy with the idea that they came up with, and that is they're going to keep southbound open by pushing the southbound lane farthest over into the right-hand northbound lane. So coming over the bridge, you'll still be able to come through. Northbound will have to turn last at Fayette, right? So they'll still have an opportunity to go left on Rimbach to get their way over to Sibley, to Strachan Van Tills, to Haas. So they'll still be able to make that turn. And they certainly could turn before, but the northbound traffic won't be able to go past Fayette for 2 days to make the connection. It's just part of the construction project that we have to make this utility tie-in as part of the progress of the project, and so I'd ask for your approval of this action.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
A motion to approve the closure on Holman Avenue for April 11th and 12th as submitted.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you. I did give copies to the board secretary so that she has those too as well.
Thank you. Anything else from department heads or their representatives? Okay, moving on to number 7, correspondence. Letter A, correspondence received from Dean Button, Capital Improvements Board, requesting $115,200 of CIB funding to be allocated for the 177th, 179th Street reconstruction, construction engineering, and supplemental agreement number 1 submitted for approval.
Hammond, Weigel, Klein, or HWC Engineering, did a design project for 177th, 179th between the Buffalo Wild Wings south of the expressway to Klein Avenue. They have submitted a supplemental agreement to their original design contract. There's about $20,000 left in the design contract, so they're going to roll that over into the construction engineering amount that's left. So it made sense to just do a supplemental for this. And this is to fund construction engineering for the next project, which is the construction of this road reconstruction. The Capital Improvements Board met, and I think that was a couple weeks ago, and have approved the funding allocation.
Okay, and I will point out it was signed by the mayor and also the city controller.
I make a motion to accept Mr. Button's request regarding 177th and 179th.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Letter B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $860,999.40 of CIB funding to be allocated for the 177th, 179th Street reconstruction, local match, and contract with Reith Riley Construction submitted for approval.
As mentioned, this is the road reconstruction of the roadway of the construction engineering you just approved. The city received a $1 million grant award from the Indiana Department of Transportation through their Community Crossings Matching Grant, which is a 50-50 grant. The project came in under $2 million, 50-50, right? So
Right.
$1 million by NDOT, $1 million by the city. It came in under, so the city's portion is $860, right? That's the half. It's 1.7 million and change is the contract amount. The city's portion is the 861. So I would ask your approval of the agreement and the funding allocation that was approved by the Capital Improvements Board, and I just wanted to add that I'm required to get these contracts in by April 6th, which is the date of the next Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, so I really, this is very timely to get this approved.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I make a motion to approve Mr. Button's request and also to approve the agreement and the funding allocation.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter C, correspondence received from William Short, Chief of Police, submitted for retirement of Sergeant Kimberly Haney, who have served the citizens of Hammond for 32 years, effective the close of business on May 25th, 2023. The retirement of Sergeant Manuel Yanis, who has served the citizens of Hammond for 29 and a half years, effective the close of business on June 25th, 2023, and a disciplinary matter.
Motion to approve Chief Short's submission as presented.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, correspondence received from Gary Up Construction requesting the closure of Calumet Avenue on Thursday, April 13th, 2023 at 8 p.m. and reopen on April 14th, 2023 at 6 a.m. with the attached traffic control plan with the inclement weather date of April 18th, 2023.
This is for the Little Calumet River pedestrian bridge. We had a closure March 16th, I want to say, to set the bridge.
Right.
They now need to pour the concrete deck, so there'll be a concrete pumper truck stationed on Calumet Avenue, so it'll require a closure. It's an overnight closure. The contractor has indicated that they should be completed well in advance of the 6 a.m. Time period. It's an overnight closure. It requires NDOT approval for the off-ramp closures at this location. Keep in mind that the on-ramps are closed by an NDOT project at Calumet Avenue, so basically could not get on or off at Calumet Avenue overnight.
Gotcha. Okay.
Motion to approve Gary Up's request for the street closure of Calumet Avenue as presented.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter E, correspondence received from F.H. Passion requesting a road closure at Sheffield Avenue in Holman for the Nickty Westlake Corridor project from April 3rd, 2023 through April 10th, 2023.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Passion is going to correct the water main and relocate it, so they're requesting a closure. I don't think it should affect too much.
Okay. I do want to make a correction, though. When I was reading it, I said, I think I've said Holman, and it's Sheffield Avenue and Hoffman Avenue.
Correct.
Just want clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Motion to approve at F.H. Passion's request for the road closure at Sheffield and Hoffman.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter F, correspondence received from Brian Miller, Purdue University Northwest, advising there will be noise from the concert event being held on April 14th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the parking lot. Hammond Police Department and PNW Police Department will be present to ensure safety and security. Good. Yeah, they did it last year. That's when Shaq was there.
Yeah, the only concern I have is if it's like we're clear at 11, or is it where the concert's going to 11?
They're clear at 11.
Okay.
Last year we got done about 10 after 10, and we were.
That's my recollection.
Yeah.
I just want that to be stressed to Chief Miller.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because it's a neighbor.
Right.
Motion to approve Brian Miller's request for April 14th.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter G, correspondence received from Joel Sanchez requesting his hearing for late rental registration for 2456 White Oak be reheard.
Are we doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion that we set the status for Mr. Sanchez for April 13th, 2023.
And that's only to entertain his request
Right.
for reconsideration, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Find out what happened.
Yes, we need to hear what his reasoning was before we make a decision.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Moving on to letter H, correspondence received from Christina Ochoa, 7335 Delaware Avenue, requesting permission to place a moving 41 feet trailer on her property, which will block the sidewalk and partially into the street on April 11th, 2023 for approximately 3 days. Does anybody have any issue with that?
You refer to engineering, so we just take a look at it, get a clear, I don't think there's a problem necessarily, but I think we need to just have a look at it.
So forward it to you to have a look at it?
Engineering for
Before we
review,
decide. Okay.
review and recommendation.
Recommendation, okay.
Okay. I make a motion that we forward Ms. Ochoa's request regarding 7335 Delaware to engineering for review and consideration.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You have something for that?
I was just, it says is the trailer moving, or is it a 41-foot moving trailer? Or is it a moving 41-foot trailer?
It says we have a trailer for 3 business days. That's all it's, I imagine, that's all it says, Kevin. It really doesn't have any more
The
information.
agenda item makes it imply that the trailer's going to be moving during those 3 days versus being stationary.
It's,
He's moving. Is that the idea?
I think that's what it is, sure, yeah.
she actually puts in parentheses, but foresee it being unloaded sooner. So it's something they're unloading.
Got it.
So I assume it won't even take the whole amount of time she asked for, so. Okay. Letter I, correspondence received requesting a rental registration hearing.
Okay. I make a motion that we set the request for rental registration hearings for April 13th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 8, matters from board members, sorry.
I have one matter here for 19 Webb. It's an order to rescind and release, order to demolish.
Yes, happy to report through my information from Mr. Luter that place was completely rehabbed, so we're excited. It goes back to being a cut-up from when Kelly was working for Jim, I think, and so it's really exciting that it's a single-family home again, so.
Very nice. Rescind, yeah.
Okay. I make a motion that we rescind the order to demolish on 19 Webb Street.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anything else from board members? No? Okay, number 9, new business. Letter A, right-of-way permit received from engineering submitted for approval.
This is the property located on Sheffield, 4545. It's the NIPSCO building. And Larson Daniels wants to block the sidewalk off with scaffolding, and they would remove it every day. They're doing brickwork,
Okay,
so I would recommend approval.
okay.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the right-of-way permit submitted by engineering for 4545 Sheffield.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter B, business amusement device license for Porter's Tap. Yeah, just go ahead, yeah.
Motion to approve the amusement device license for Porter's Tap.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Number 10, old business. Letter A, status, Jimenez Auto.
This is up again. Mr. Bartholomew is present here today. I know his associate was here last time. We had kind of requested some hopeful progress just because it seemed that the city staff and board was getting a little impatient with the lack of progress. So I'm going to turn it over to Christian, and I'm sure he'll report what's up with the board. The other thing I would note, just to set the record, is that it was, at least to my knowledge, the first time I had heard that the decision to move across the street, and I forget the address, but it's it's kind of like a V parcel, was a temporary move, and that the permanent move still was hoping to be Hammond Avenue. That was kind of news to me. Our city planner was here. That was news to him. He's not here today. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Bartholomew and have him update the board on where we're at.
So, as Kevin pointed out, I wasn't here the last time around, but my understanding is Brian, our architect, had presented us our plans at that meeting. I think he delivered them by hand for the new location. Since that time, Brian's had some time to go over them. I've discussed the plans for the new location with him. He's requested some revisions, clarifications on those plans concerning how the parking arrangement is designated, just to make sure that this entire parcel is in compliance with city's zoning standards. So right now we've got a auto sales location in the front of the lot, and then there's a sort of L-shaped building in the back of the lot. My client anticipates using 2 of those units for the business, and one of them was occupied. One of the questions that Brian raised was, well, we've got multiple businesses working out of these, and we don't seem to have much rhyme or reason, I guess you could say, to how the parking was arranged. I've gone through the leases. There really wasn't anything designated in there. So Brian and I discussed that. We're going to try to look at it in the aggregate so that the entire premises will have sufficient parking for the businesses, all of the businesses that are located there. Our architect is now working on making some revisions to show which of those units have bay doors, and so that we can provide the number of employees and whatnot to ensure that there's adequate parking. So that's the planning side of things. The other side of things was, as I mentioned, one of these units that my client anticipates using was occupied by another tenant. There's 4 units. We're going to take 2. One has a auto body and paint shop in it that is going to remain on location. One of those units is going to remain a storage unit, which I understand is its purpose right now. Then we're going to occupy 2. One of those 2 was occupied by another tenant whose lease expired. It expired in January. We couldn't get him out. We gave him till the end of February with an official termination notice. Filed an eviction because we still couldn't get him out. That's set for about 2 weeks from now, but I was informed by my clients this morning that tenant has left and is supposed to be completely cleared out of the unit by Monday. Is that right?
That's what he initially said. He was gonna stop.
So the units are going to be clear. We can start, I guess, relocating the business material or making preparations for that. We still will need planning approval before we can get our business license and actually do the relocation, but we're coming along. As far as the status of whether that relocation is going to be permanent, temporary, what have you, my client would, at some point down the line, if he can, like to relocate to the original location on Hammond Avenue, where the car wash is now. As we've seen already, that's going to be pending a lot of approval if it can happen. I think there are still questions as to whether that can happen. That's an eventual goal. But we know we need to relocate. We know we have what seems to be a good location now that we can work with. So our priority is getting it in a place where we can acquire that business license that we know we need, making sure the new location is fit to properly operate. And then I think, you know, if we're able to put it somewhere else, that'll be an issue that we'll have to tackle another day.
Yeah, I think that's a great summary. I mean, I know last time we had actually asked, and I don't think your associate maybe knew it at the time.
She's pretty fresh to
Yeah,
the case, so.
we noticed. Very nice, though. Very professional. She did a good job. But I think that's key. One of the keys was we didn't know whether or not what was going on with the fact that they couldn't get over there. Remember, because we didn't have any information like, oh, an eviction's going to be filed.
Right.
So that's great news. And it sounds like there's going to be a total vacate of the premises by that tenant soon, maybe even sooner than the eviction hearing, which is also great news. Because at the end of the day, I think if we can get Jimenez Auto over across the street, relocated to the satisfaction of Brian and over there, then at least, you know, then the discussions about where they end up eventually can begin, and whether that's Homan Avenue, whether they stay where they're at across the street, you know, that'll all kind of come out in the wash as we move forward. But I'm happy to hear that it sounds like a move is imminent. That way we can get the correct business license filed and granted and given. Mr. Kleina will, of course, be reviewing that. And the only other thing I can remember Brian indicating was that he was hoping that there was going to be some sort of like unit designation, which I think is what you alluded to with the park.
Yeah, there always have been unit designations. For one reason or another, I'm not sure why it panned out this way, but I pulled the history going back 10 years or so of the business licenses at this location. And there have been a number of business licenses that were granted for this location, and some time ago, they always had unit designations on them. A few years back, for one reason or another, folks stopped putting their unit designations on those business licenses. The units are labeled 1 to 4, so there's no reason that they can't have those designations on the licenses. And when we apply for ours with the move, we're certainly going to have that shown. I think Brian was he's looking at the plans, he's looking at the addresses, he's looking at the businesses that are located there, and for one reason or another, there was just no designation that was shown. But
And you are the owner your clients are the owners.
my clients are the owners of the total parcel right now, so we can certainly get that sorted out. I think the only question at this stage is probably going to be with Brian and the parking issue. That's the thing that he brought up the last time I talked to him is we've got a number of parking spaces on this lot. We've got a portion of the lot that appears to be in the back area that appears to be gravel. We just need to make sure that there are enough clearly delineated parking spots for what the zoning ordinances provide. And again, that was probably an issue under old ownership that just never came to the fore, but since we're having a change of use right now, Brian wants to have it addressed so that we know that the parcel is in compliance on the whole.
Why don't we set it for 4 weeks? That should be beyond the eviction in case that doesn't, in case they don't vacate in time. That should give enough time for Mr. Bartholomew to meet with Brian again and for Brian to give the board a report. Linda, I would request that you either have Mr. Pullen present or that he give a status report to the board for its review before the next date.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, because I would like to keep this moving. Now that other tenant's vacated, I would hope that this expedites things a little bit.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about the hearing anymore. What's the date?
April 27th.
Okay. Is April 27th okay?
Let's see. Works for me. That's good?
Yeah. Yep.
Motion to set the status for Jimenez Auto for April 27th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Have a
folks.
good day. Okay, moving on. Letter B, status for 5235 State Line.
Okay, the board may recall this is the old Judy's Music Store on State Line, right off of Rimbach.
Yes.
We had let's see, the owner, and I believe he was with Mr. Soto at the time, Mr. Flores, who's here. Oh, they're all here. All right, Mr. Soto's here, Mr. Flores is here, Rich is here. I believe last time we were here, they had a site plan that they presented, and they requested an okay for permits to knock down the back second addition. And so we set it today for status. So Rich, do you want to give any further status before I turn it over to Mr. Flores?
Well, they have demolished the rear of the property, the old garage, so that's taken care of. I believe they still had to come up with the parking plan and stuff, though. That was the only other question we had pending.
Okay, and they're
Because-
still under a rehab.
Gotcha.
That's good. So, Mr. Flores, go ahead if you want to update the board.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, quick update. So the back second edition has been knocked down. It was done in a timely manner, and I have been working with my architect for getting the plans ready. Everything is done. I was told that I needed to put the size of the bathrooms and all the proper entryways for any disabled persons, which unfortunately, Mr. Soto actually came in today, early in the morning, like 5 a.m., so he couldn't print the plans, the big blueprints. But unfortunately, I'm also working with my architect to get the property lines on the print.
Okay.
I have talked to him already. He said he would actually have them done by tomorrow or Monday at the latest. I tried to push him to get it done by today, and Mr. Soto wasn't in town, so he couldn't help me push. But he said he would have them done tomorrow or Monday. I've sent emails with what I've had so far, just to keep everyone updated, to make sure everything was just to show that I'm moving forward. And yeah, like I said, I've already talked to a trucking company, or towing company, I'm sorry, to have no parking, private property, to cut down on all the excess parking. But unfortunately, I need the property lines and the blueprint to give to the towing company so we can get those signs put up, and he can start towing people that aren't supposed to be there. But I've already talked to them, yes.
Is there anything preventing you then from moving forward the other part of the rehab?
No, there is nothing besides the property lines.
Okay, so it's set for, the expiration of the rehab is May 1st.
Okay.
I would suggest setting it for status right before that, so we can see where it is, if we need to extend it, or if he's done.
The April 27th date, is that okay?
Good?
April 27th for the plans?
For status,
for
hopefully
everything.
you'll be moving and
Of
got
course.
permits, and, I mean, if you're ready to get permits, they'll issue permits for you.
Okay,
Then you
yep.
can get the rehab moving, because I'm sure Mr. Soto wants to
Yes.
get to work.
Yes, worst case scenario, I will email updates as I get them, so if I get the blueprint or the plans tomorrow, I'll send them via email or bring them in person, either or. I can definitely do that.
Okay, yep, so Mr. Vale will have to see the prints, and then he'll give you permits. Or
Thank you.
Once they're approved.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
A motion to set status for 5235 State Line for April 27, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter C, status for 4440 Torrance.
So this was the last parcel that Mr. Medina owned. I believe it transferred, right, Chris, it transferred to a new owner?
It's got a new owner, yes.
Yeah, and I thought we were just going to set it for today. My notes from last status were Mr. Soto was going to be the licensed contractor. They were going to do an updated inspection report and a rehab agreement if we needed it. Mr. Luter was with the owner at that status. So, there we go, yeah.
Kelly and I met this morning on it. I did complete a status inspection of the property. Some work was completed by Mr. Medina prior to the sale with no permit. I've requested that that be reviewed by the new contractor, which is going to be Soto. Rest of the work is more or less cosmetic, so I believe we're going to ask for a 60-day status, and we're just going to continue to monitor with the demo order still in place
You do
until
want
that's
to keep
done.
the demo
Yes.
process. Do you want to enter into a new rehab agreement with the new owner? Because we don't have one currently.
After that 60-day status, if it's not completed. We're hoping it's going to be completed within the 60 days. If not, at that point, then we'll do it.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
60 days.
Is May 25th or June 1st? Does that matter to either one of you? Okay, we're going to go with May 25th then, okay?
Motion to set the status for 4440 Torrance for May 25th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter D, status for 5554 Walter.
This is the matter of Ms. Botello. I saw her here earlier. I think she's here. She's coming up. I've had a conversation with her on the phone, I think, this week or maybe late last week. She's trying to get the bond. So I'll let her report.
So Yeah, that's the only thing that's holding me back is that bond. I'm just waiting for a response. I already did the agreement. The only thing that's holding me back is the bond.
So are you going to be able to get the bond?
I'm trying, I don't know, if that's the only thing I could get waived, then I could get it done.
So where are you trying to get the bond?
2 companies.
Two insurance companies?
Yeah, I've been trying.
Did you try Prestmer
Yeah, I have them and Uno.
and Uno? Okay, because
We're still waiting.
Is that standard, Kevin, to make?
I'm shocked that we don't have a bond yet.
Me too, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Is that standard to make her wait this long?
No, I wouldn't think so. And I actually mentioned to Ms. Botello that I worked on some language with Mr. Luter for how we want the bonds to be worded.
Yes.
So that we have a better chance of enforcing the bond.
Yes.
So we, like, I want them to reference the rehab agreement. I want them to reference compliance with
Right.
that, so that we can enforce the bond if they, skip town.
Gotcha.
Not that you were gonna skip town, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in general. And so, I think, I don't know if Mr. Luter, she's said she's talked to Uno Insurance and Prestmer, and that she's not getting, she hasn't been able to get a call back, which,
I will check with the one that we received the other day, see where they got that. I'll check
Okay.
with those people, and then I'll get that information.
so.
Was another week okay then?
You want 2 weeks?
2 weeks?
2 weeks?
I'll try 2 weeks.
All right, let's do 2 weeks, because here's the thing, she entered the rehab agreement in March, or earlier in March, and it expires June 17th, so she's got a lot of work to do once she gets the bond.
Absolutely.
issued, so-
Really quick, too.
And you have a contractor ready to go? Yeah, I remember
Things
that.
ready, that's the only holdup.
All right,
is the-
so Mr. Luter will help you, let's set it for 2 weeks.
Motion to set the status for 5554 Walter for April 13th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, ma'am. Letter E, status 7235 through 41 Calumet Avenue.
All right, 7235-41 Calumet. This, of course, is it's wrapped up in litigation. And I know that Mr. Peterson is involved in it. All the lawyers were here last time, but I don't see necessarily anybody here this time for this matter, 7235 Calumet. So, Linda, we responded to a subpoena, if I'm not mistaken, on this property and sent matters over to Mr. Peterson, sent documents over. Okay, so so what's happening is, as you recall, this is like 4 units.
Yes.
The purchaser is saying that they didn't know they weren't in compliance when they bought them, so they're suing the old owner over that. And we're kind of in the middle. So I need to find out if I either need to intervene in that lawsuit or we need to just continue going down this road here. But I know that Nick wants those units out. So why don't we set it over for a month status? Linda, if you could just ask Mr. Peterson, and I can't remember who represents the owner. Mr. Peterson represents the buyers. The former owner, I'm not sure. So let's notify both of them for an update, if we could have a month.
April 27th?
Sure.
Okay.
Motion to set status for 7235 through 41 Calumet Avenue for April 27th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter F, status for 1806 Brown Avenue. I guess he's on Zoom.
Yes, I think Mr. I'm going to get his name wrong, I'm sorry, Strezovsky is on the phone. Yes, sir.
Yes.
And Mr. Strezovsky actually was present here about a month ago at the last status. He indicated that he was the tax sale purchaser and he was waiting on the deed. I indicated that we had some contact from Mr. Farmer, and who still lives in the premises, was the former owner, appears to be in some significant economic hardship. And I did indicate that NIPSCO had been cut, so he was living there without gas or electric. Mr. Stravosky indicated that he was just waiting on the deed, and I think he still is. I also know that he has paid for a rehab, and I'm going to let Mr. Pagic or Mr. Luter update the board before we turn it over to Mr. Stravosky for his update.
Gotcha.
Yeah, basically everything that Kevin says is true. I still have been getting multiple complaints from neighbors regarding the conditions of the property, so something definitely needs to get going with this property. And I know Mr. Stravosky is working hard on getting the deed, so now I'll give it over to Bill.
So the issue is we have somebody living in the house, we have somebody who is purchasing the house who's trying to give me the okay to enter a property when he can't even evict the person there. So I can't do an inspection, and I understand it may be a hoarding situation. The new purchaser may be able to shed some light on that. But ultimately, how are we going to force our way into an inspection when somebody's living in a house that, at this point, is in the process of losing it? And then, even then, with new, and Attorney Smith will be able to shed light on this, how are we going to enforce a rehab agreement with somebody who technically doesn't own the property yet?
Yeah, I mean, this is, so what, I guess from a policy perspective, what happened was the board sometimes entertains extensions of demolition orders while the tax sale purchaser is getting the deed. And it did so in this instance. Mr. Strzelecki, sorry, I keep messing your name up, seemed to be willing and able to rehab this property. He paid for the rehab inspection, or the inspection, demo inspection. And so we're kind of just in that limbo period where he's waiting on a deed. I can tell you that the county does take, 8 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on the volume. So, I appreciate the fact that he's appeared again. I think if we set it over for another month, he can give us an update as to where it is. I'm sure he will update. I'm sure he'll get a hold of Bill Luter as soon as he gets the deed, because at that time, then he has access, although he's probably going to have to do an eviction, it sounds like. So
From our office standpoint, as long as he gets that deed in hand, takes it down, and gets recorded, it doesn't matter how long it takes to get in the computer system. He walks into our office with that recorded deed, we'll accept that, even though it hasn't changed in the computer system, because we realize that the county is, as Kevin said, 6 to 8 weeks behind sometimes.
Well, you're saying 8 weeks. How far into it are we now?
I bet we're going to hear from him.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Okay, so shortly after our last hearing, probably like 4 days later, I went and submitted all my paperwork to get the deed issued in my name. Coincidentally, I believe the computer systems were down for like a month or something. I had a different court hearing on a different matter a few days ago. Was there with my attorney, and I'm like, hey, can you ask what's going on with my deeds being issued, because I had multiple deeds turned over, and I'm hoping, again, it's Lake County, so I'm hoping it could be today, it could be tomorrow. A few days ago, I tried checking to see the computer system to see if it was transferred. It had not been. So I'm hoping within, you just never know with the people there. Sometimes you can get one in 10 days, and sometimes it could be 3 months. And so I'm very hopeful that it's going to be within the next 30 days.
And then, sir, are you going to have to proceed with an eviction then after that, do you believe?
Well, here's the problem. I might be able to shed light on that. What is the city of Hammond's ordinances of living in squalor, if you would like to use that word, in terms of unlivable conditions of people, even though they didn't technically kind of own that property, the inheritance. What's the city's stance on living in squalor?
If we was to do that inspection, sir, my name's Kelly Kern, I'm the head of the inspections department. If we had information that was going on, we'd plan the inspection. Upon inspection, if it was a situation that was hoarding or squalor, then we would mark it uninhabitable. They'd have 10 days to vacate, and then the order to repair or demolish would go up as far as getting the building clean and removed of whatever debris was in.
I just that part kind of broke up.
We upon inspection, we would, if we found that squalor situation or hoarding situation, we would mark it uninhabitable. They'd have 10 days to vacate, and then we'd go on order to repair or demolish to get the situation cleaned up.
All right, so the repair demolish has already been set. So I guess the next step would be, maybe we work in conjunction to, once I get the deed, I try to get the guy to let me in there. If you happen to be driving by there, go in there and you do a vacate that way, or I would then have to do an eviction.
you're going to have to do the eviction. If he's in there, obviously for safety reasons and such, we're not going to kick the door in and go to do an inspection. He'll have to be evicted. You'd have to go through that process. And once we do the inspection, if it is, as I suspect, a hoarding situation, that demolition inspection is going to be very tough to do if everything is covered.
Yeah, so I think that, like you mentioned, we'd like to work in conjunction. You do your eviction, we'll do our uninhabitable notice in order to vacate, and hopefully that'll get done around the same time, and then we can clear the place out once you get the order of possession from the court. So it sounds like to the board that we're going to have to kick this a little bit down the road. I think hopefully Chris will be able to handle the complaints that are coming in and let them know the situation. That the alternative is that it's going to take a lot longer to get this place, because we can't, I think this is the best, we're not going to knock a place down with people in it, right? So we've got to get them out at some point. Kind of, this reminds me of the Baltimore situation. Yeah. So if we could set this over probably for 6 weeks, that'll hopefully give the owner time to get the deed, get an eviction filed. It'll give Mr. Luter time to get either an inspection or Mr. Kearney time to get an uninhabitable notice on it, and we'll know what's going on.
Because I hope sir, I hope that you follow through with the eviction part of it, because even if you get the deed, he's not leaving. I think we know that already. So how about May 11th? Does that work for everybody?
That should work.
All right, May 11th then, we're going to reset this for status May 11th. Please keep the city updated, sir, with anything you get the deed. Mr. Luter then can start moving on the inspection, and we'll move on the uninhabitable portion of it too upon inspection.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, have a good day.
You too.
Motion to set the status for 1806 Brown Avenue for May 11th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, moving on to number 11, rental registration hearings. Letter A, 950 Murray.
Here, both A and B are listed as the same one.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. As far as 950 Murray is concerned, it looks like Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Has owned the property since March 4th of 21. This is a single-family home. We are here for 2022's rental registration. It's his first time having to register or being late. Now, I would make a note that the current ownership listed by Lake County is under BMB Holdings LLC, which is currently administratively dissolved through the Secretary of State, so you might just check up on that and make sure that gets.
I changed it over to.
So that relationship is dissolved,
Yes.
for sure? Okay.
Yes, yeah, that one is.
Gotcha.
There's a secondary B&B Properties LLC S Series number 8, which is what the other property is listed under the ownership of.
So 950 is in the process of, should be getting changed over to the properties.
Okay.
But same.
S Series?
Yeah, S Series.
Okay.
Sir, can you please just explain why you missed for 2022?
You know, without trying to make an excuse, but I think I had filed for an eviction. I sent 9 registration forms, property registrations for rentals, and that one was not in there, which is weird to me. But I looked through my records, and I filed for an eviction from like 2 or 3 days before the due date of the registration. So I think it was because of that I forgot to re-register. Because I probably told myself, well, I'm not going to register this and put their name on there because I'm trying to evict them, and then I could just put the new one, and I didn't.
Okay, but you did say it's his first time, Nick?
Yeah, for that property address.
Okay, yeah.
I'll make a motion to waive the 2022 rental registration late fee for 950 Murray.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay.
So the next property at 4316 Dearborn is also Mr. Sanchez's. He's listed as the owner, or the LLC is listed as the owner since May 2022 of 20. It's a single-family home. We're here for the rental registration on 2022. Now, it would appear that there was a Board of Public Works action taken in November of 2020 where the late fee was waived. This year, our department did receive the packet of rental registrations that Mr. Sanchez had sent in. There was, it looks like a $5 discrepancy in which one of the secretaries contacted Mr. Sanchez, who responded he would send in the the additional $5. Since they didn't get that within 30 days, they were instructed to mail that back to Mr. Sanchez due to the discrepancy. We couldn't process the payment because it was short. So that's how we got to this situation. It's probably that one property that he missed threw off this property from getting registered as well.
So there could have been a mistake made or something?
It was a short.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a short $5.
It was a $5 short.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, because of that reason, I think we're probably going to be inclined to waive it. Otherwise, if you would have had that late fee in 2020, we probably would have assessed the late fee. But because of this issue, I think we're inclined to waive it this time.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, and the 2020 late fee was on all my properties because I wasn't aware and so, yeah, so they're all,
okay.
I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Motion to waive the 2020 late fee for 4316 Dearborn.
2022.
2022, I'm sorry.
Okay, I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, moving on, letter C, 6832 Woodmar. Thank you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Could you give us your name, please?
Jagdeep Chahal.
Okay, go ahead.
Honest mistake, it's my only property that I own, and I honestly forgot, just slipped my mind. That's how I missed it.
So we have Mr. Jahal listed as the owner since December 7th of 2018. This is a single-family home. We're here for 2022, and he has registered on time in the prior years.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Motion to waive the 2022 late fee for 6423 New Jersey.
Oh, 6832.
Woodmar.
What am I doing? 6832 Woodmar Avenue.
Thank you.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, sir. You can register at the end of today's meeting if you want to stick around. Yeah. Okay. Okay, moving on to letter D, 6423 New Jersey Avenue.
So the next two properties actually would be 6432 New Jersey and...
23.
I'm sorry.
You said 32.
Okay.
Yeah, you said 32.
Is it? Okay.
It's okay.
It's my dyslexia.
We're all backwards today, yeah.
Oh, either way, so it's, you said 23?
Yeah.
Okay, I even wrote it down, 32.
Yeah.
All right. So these are both listed under the ownership of Levinson Properties LLC. It would be my recommendation based on both property addresses, the New Jersey and the 5722 Bering Avenue. They're owing for 2021 and 2022. Subsequently, there are 5 other properties also owned by Levinson Properties LLC that are currently in collections with Smith Sursick. So I would make a recommendation to the board that these 2 addresses be forwarded to Smith Sursick for collections with the other 5 that are already going through that process.
Okay, are we going to, is your recommendation to apply the late fee then for both years for both properties?
No, it would just be to...
Let them work it out with Smith Sursick?
Correct, to forward the 2 addresses to Smith Sursick due to the number of years owed and the additional properties which are already going through that collection process to have a singular negotiation and settlement agreement reached.
Gotcha, okay.
Motion to forward 6423 New Jersey and 5722, do we have to wait on that one? Or can we do them both?
No, we can do them both, yeah.
5722 Bering Avenue to Smith Sursick for collections.
Thank you.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, letter F, 7514 Jackson Avenue. Looks like there's 3. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Give us your name, please.
Rex Winful.
Okay.
Got his assistant with him.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Very good thing to do, bring a cute little girl with you, that's for sure.
Yes.
We have Mr. Winful listed as the owner of the property since July 23rd of 2021. It looks like this is a 3-unit property, and you occupy one of the units, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then, so we're just here for 2022, so it'd be 2 units for 2022 that are open and outstanding.
No problems in the past?
No.
Okay. You don't need an affidavit for the one he occupies, Nick, or no?
Yes, he would want to submit a affidavit with the rental registration each year indicating that he's occupying the 3rd unit, so we have that documentation on file. In the event that it were to change then the 3rd one would just be registered with the remainder units that are occupied by tenants.
Okay, you got that, sir?
Partially. So do I get the form here, or
Yep,
how do I go?
Yep, so
Okay.
with the rental registration form, just explain that you occupy one of the units. They'll
Okay.
give you the affidavit,
Okay.
which is a declaration of your occupancy and an exemption from
Okay.
having to register.
Okay.
And then we would attach that.
Yeah, with that
Okay.
girl, are you kidding me? That was very smart, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, we're good, yeah.
Okay. Motion to waive the late fees for the 2 units at 7514 Jackson for 2022.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on. The meeting's open to the public. Does anybody have anything to say? Looks like we have a couple people. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tony Scott. I ain't gonna forget.
Oh, yeah, Tony, what's going on?
All right, how's it going?
Good.
I was coming in because I have the dentist office on Hammond Avenue, 5254 Hammond Avenue, and they don't have no signs out showing how you can get to the dentist office, and even the restaurant on the corner of Hammond Avenue where they're doing the construction at.
Okay.
So he asked me to come to the meeting today because, to bring this up, can we get some signs out showing how to get to the back of the park and to, the entrance of the dentist's office,
So are you saying like a lot of times during construction, they'll say like business is open or?
Right,
business
they don't
open,
have, they don't have no signs out there like
And
that.
maybe like
Nothing.
parking in the rear.
Parking in the rear,
business
right.
open, parking in the rear. So
Right.
I'd refer it to Public Works.
Okay.
And see if Felix can get, meet Mr. Scott or Dr. Scott over there regarding the dentist office, and that way maybe they can meet and figure out what needs to be done.
Mr. Scott, what's your address on Williams again?
My address is 22 Williams.
I was thinking maybe he can come there and meet with you.
Okay.
He lives real close to there anyway, so,
Okay,
yeah.
Oh, I thought you were the dentist.
Oh, no, he's representing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So does the dentist own the restaurant also?
No, it's
2 different businesses?
2 different businesses.
Okay, but they both want
3
it.
different businesses over there, really.
Okay.
Right in that little spot.
Okay, so maybe we'll send Felix to the dentist's office then.
Okay.
Kind of get an idea. Do you know what the owner is? What's his name is?
I have the information right here. That's his sister's name. You can talk to his sister.
So it looks like the dentist office is 5254 Holman.
Right.
Okay.
Phone number 933-4900. And this card is from a dental hygienist named Melissa Hurtado, Hurtado.
Furtado, okay.
United Dental Centers is the name of the.
Okay, we'll forward this then. We'll forward this to Public Works and have them go meet with Melissa, and we'll see if we can rectify
The
this.
brother is, he the owner. I can't
I got
remember
you.
his name. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call over there.
Thank you.
Because he said Dad owned the business for like 36 years, so he done took over
Okay.
the last few years.
Gotcha.
So, man, that's my dentist. I need to keep him there.
Yeah. We'll send somebody over there, Mr. Scott.
Okay.
Nice seeing you.
All right, it's nice
Have a
seeing
good
you
day.
guys.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
Motion to refer the matter for 5254 Holman Avenue United Dentist to Public Work for follow-up.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting's open to the public. Come on up, sir. Yeah.
Let me hear.
Yes.
So,
Did you give your name, sir?
I'm sorry. Antonio Alvarez.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's about a DBA we have, so it's ride-share vehicle leasing.
Okay.
Just so I can set the record, just to make sure Mr. Alvarez knows this. He requested a hearing on a denial of business license.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
believe that and another one.
Yeah.
And we know it's being reset.
Correct,
next
yeah.
week.
This
So
is-
it'll
this
be
is-
before the board next week.
Correct, this is something different.
Okay, sorry, go
But, yeah, but appreciate the reminder. So we have a property, 6701 Calumet, which we've had an issue with, I'm sorry.
6701, is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Calumet,
That's
yeah.
where the old BMV used to be.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Know that. Well,
Crossing the cemetery.
yes, it's just a parking lot now. We're gonna be applying for, I guess this comes down to, we spoke to zoning about the business license for, it's zone C4, but we've been having issues with parking, obviously, and, whether there be complaints or not on both sides. We had some stuff towed, I mean, obviously, you receive that for the, okay, so, different matter, but now we're trying to apply for the license. The issue we're running into, and we're trying to avoid going through the variance process, is we rent out cars on the digital platforms. Like, everything's now digital now, everything. So from medical treatments are now digital, Zoom calls are digital. So we rent out cars, we need a place to park them. We can't park them on city streets. We guess in theory we can, we just don't want to. So we've been owning this lot for, 7 years now, I think? And we're trying to do something with it, right? We've been paying tax on it. We just received, a few years back, a new Hammond $1,000 tax because it's commercial.
Can I stop you, Mr.
Sure,
Alford?
sure.
Are we trying to have the hearing now?
No,
That's
no,
what I-
no, it's just something completely
No,
different.
I want to make sure we don't go too far with,
Yeah, no,
okay,
it's
okay.
a completely different matter. We have
I gotcha,
companies here.
okay.
So essentially, we want to apply for the parking lot license, and from what the zoning portion of it is, I know it's C4, automobile rental, which is, zone C3. Zone C4 currently, permitted uses is number 3 of 10.10 is automobile rental, and of course 10.10, public transportation station, private, obviously, or public. So we're trying to apply for that, and just so we're not getting back and forth, we're going to be I'm preemptively thinking we're going to get denied if based upon the other.
If it's not zoned correctly, you will.
Correct, yeah, I know it's zoned correctly, it's just.
The use may not, you may need a variance.
Correct, yeah, so that was kind of going to talk about the various portion of it. It might come down to semantics of public and rental, but I know that the biggest portion of it was on premise. We don't want to build a building on the property, it doesn't need a building, it's literally just, when you rent a car online, you go on Toro, or there are 3 apps we use, Toro, Get Around, instead of waiting to Enterprise, which is very expensive now. We can rent our cars out for $20 a day and be profitable if we have a place to park them, right? So that's essentially what we're trying to accomplish. So I'm just being preemptive. I'm assuming there might be some questions because it's definitely a new concept, right? A typical, you have a place to have a building. All of our stuff's done on the phone now. Everyone knows everything's on the phone now, so.
So I guess, obviously it's just public comment. And
Yeah.
We're not really answering questions or anything.
Yeah.
But I would just suggest that if I was, if this was asked to me, I would say, meet with Brian and Tom in planning and zoning, figure out what they are going to require so that then I would petition for the variance first before
Yeah.
you're doing the business license.
Right.
You're just going to get denied it.
Yeah.
And this board doesn't deal with zoning.
Correct,
Or
yeah.
planning. So I would just, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, but I think you have to work with Brian and Tom, because this board really isn't going to be able to take any action.
So it could be my missing, the Board of Public Works handles anything outside of the stuff, for the other 2 things we're handling. But
Board of Public Works is the appellate body for denial of business license, yes.
specifically. So to avoid getting denied, or just to be in preemptively, the variance will be done through what department then?
This always gets flipped over in my mind, but it's either zoning or planning. Plan Commission and or BZA.
BZA, that's what it was. No, it's
I always
BZA.
forget which does the variances and which does the, changes on.
It was BZA.
But that's absolutely going to have to happen before we decide on the
Yeah,
business license
if
part.
it even needs to happen. I think.
It's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to happen.
I would just work through that with Brian and
Yeah.
Tom. And ultimately make a petition to whatever board you need to, but it's not this one.
Yeah. Assuming that I go to not being denied first, so variance would be cool. Cool, all right, that's basically it.
Okay, and we'll see you next week, Mr. Alvarez.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, the meeting's open to the public. Would anybody else have anything to say? Okay.
Major Gethsemane moments.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone.